run of clothes, days, and gotta get some chips, some snacks, and I gotta stop by the arts and crafts store to see if I can, the auto parts, little auto place, to see if I can find some wood filler and Bondo. So, and you might be saying, wood filler, Bondo, what the heck is all that for? Well, I need those things so that I can do my cosplay.
A speed bump is ahead.
I know, thank you. It's so nice. I'm getting a few drops of rain.
A speed bump is ahead.
So anyway, yeah, the whole thing is going to be geared towards getting my Doomslayer, eternal Doomslayer dude up and ready, and so that needs some processing. And most people will either do that with wood filler and or Bondo. So with that, trying to find that off post here in Korea is crazy, because don't really know. And part of it, I think it could, because we've just been gone for so long and the words are different. So for example, on you have a shower door, you have a standing shower, and you have a glass shower door that closes, and usually on the edge of that you'll have some type of kind of like thing that slides on, and it gives like it's like a silicone plastic type of thing, and it's able to seal up against the wall or whatever it is. It slides right over, it kind of cups, you know, if this is the glass, and then it kind of does that, and it's in long strips. You would call that a seal or something like that. But here in Korea, you know, you're looking for like shower door seal or something like that. Whatever it is, can't figure it out. Can't find it for the life of me. You could put a gun to my head and say, search for this online in Korea, and I would just have to eat one for the team. So my wife found out. Now, yeah, you got to remember, my wife is Korean, but we've been gone for decades. You know, we lived in the United States. She still kept in touch with family, and we came on vacations and stuff like that. But with that, it ends up that terminology and stuff changed here in Korea. And so for like that shower door seal or gasket or whatever, seal gasket, whatever you want to call it, here in Korea it's called a profile, bathroom profile, you know, shower door profile. That's what they end up calling it. It's like, what? And apparently there's a lot of other words that have evolved that just don't simply translate over, or they're not the same in English as they are in Korean. Because, you know, a lot of times in Korea you'll end up having words like computer, you know, and people don't know how to do a four-way stop. Good Lord. So you know, there's English words in the Korean language that they say, like computer and other things that are the same in English, so you kind of understand it. You know, Starbucks, or, you know, sandwichy, things like that. So, you know, it's not that big of a deal. But apparently other things for like home improvement items, things like that, there's a lot of those words, phrases that have changed. So I got to go through the gate here. So it's hard when you don't know those words. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다. So when you don't know the words and the phraseology, if that's a word, phraseology, it's real hard to find stuff. And there's not like a dictionary that says, you know, oh, well, you know, the shower door gasket seal attachment, whatever thingy that you could find at Home Depot, boom, like that. You probably won't find it online in Korea. So yeah, it's just another really weird type of thing. I think I got that right. There we go. It's real hard to find that stuff. And then the other thing is they don't have Home Depot. They don't have Lowe's. Oh, I loved Home Depot. Man, we rehabbed over 60 properties. And, you know, I had a commercial account, the whole 9 yards. But, yeah, they don't have that here. So I miss that a lot. So they have individual trying to find the stores for the stuff that I want. That's a whole nother thing right there. So it's like, CBS said, how's driving in Korea? It's relative to where you're from. So, for example, if you're from California and Los Angeles and, you know, the I-5 and, you know, the big 525 or whatever, you know, and you're driving in LA traffic, you know, San Bernardino, that's horrendous. And if you came to Korea, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, it's not that bad. You know, if you went to Thailand, you'd like, you know, Bangkok, you'd be like, oh, that is horrible. Korea's work, oh, that's kind of bad. But then, you know, if you had somebody that came from a place that wasn't as bad as Korea, then you'd be like, yeah, that's bad driving in Korea. Oh, I don't like it. So it's kind of depends on where you're from. But with that being said, I got here in 1988, just prior to the 88 Olympics, and driving was horrendous. It was truly horrendous. And I spent a number of years in Korea. And you'd have 2 lanes, marked 2 lanes, and they would make 5 lanes out of it. No driving, there were driving laws, but nobody would follow them. And they didn't have like a real good driver's education system like they did in the United States. You know, so by the time, you know, you're 10, 12 years old, you probably, you know, your grandfather took you out and probably let you drive the car a little bit, or if you're on a farm, you know, you drive the tractor or the truck or whatever. You know, you had like 4-wheelers. Of course, that was before my time, you know, but little dirt bikes or go-karts or something like that. And, you know, you get your driver's permit, and in 16 you're driving, and boom, it's like a fish to water. Here in Korea back then, the people that were getting their first time licenses were in their 40s. So no wonder driving was horrendous. It's a bunch of old people that didn't know the rules and just screw it, I'm going. And yeah, there's a lot of accidents and stuff like that. Now we've had, you know, generations of people that have grown up with better driver's education. There's driving schools. People go to Hagwons, which is like a school, and you can learn how to drive or learn how to do basically anything at these different tutoring schools or whatever. But yeah, you can. There's a lot more driver's education here in Korea, so that produces better drivers, and they're a hell of a lot better than they were in the late 80s and 90s. And the last time I was here in the military, we left in 2002. So, and it had gotten remarkably better, you know, from 88 to 2002, but it was still a little rough. Now that it's 2025, it has gotten a lot better. Navigation systems are a lot better. We use Naver navigation in the car. It gets us where we need to go. I use the Naver with, it comes out with an English instructions, you know, turn left in 300 meters or whatever, you know, so it's really, really good. The only problem I find is there's a lot of cool places to go, like restaurants and coffee shops, but a lot of these places don't have parking. So there's that. There's not as ample parking as there is in the United States. But still, driving as a whole, you know, we go out to some places, you know, the wife will find a place that she wants to go to or whatever, I'll find a place, plug it into Naver Maps, it comes up, gives all the directions. Honestly, in my opinion, I think the Naver navigation is better than the US navigation system like TomTom and stuff like that. In my experience, maybe it's updated over the years, which it probably has. We've been here 2.5 years plus, and the last time I used TomTom was a while ago. Before that, what, 3.5, 4 years, something like that. So The comments are so small on the phone, and I'm driving, so I missed that. But something about 30 years. Yeah, so 30 years ago, driving was insane. It was like crazy. But it's gotten a lot better. The only thing I don't like is driving in Seoul. And so I generally don't drive in Seoul. We'll just take a taxi or a train and, public transportation or whatever to get to hospital appointments or whatever. We'll do like a day trip or something. So we'll do that. But, and that's just for the fact I don't want to sit in traffic. I'd rather have somebody drive the train, drive the taxi, and me just relax. And then if we go out to lunch or a meal, I can have a drink and I don't have to worry about drinking and driving. So the majority of people use public transportation or taxis or, Uber or whatever it is. So we got that going on. But yeah, it turns out pretty good. It's not bad at all. Definitely get your gas on post because it's about half the price if you can get it on post. And it ends up that off post you're going to pay about double because it's around the high 1600, maybe 1700 won per liter for gas. And if you do the math and the number math thing, it ends up that buying your gas on post is a lot less expensive. And of course, the only people who can do that are, SOFA, retirees, stuff like that. So not normal Koreans can't come on post and buy gas because that's part of the SOFA agreement, status of forces agreement. So, but definitely make your money on gas. So if you're going to go somewhere, fill up. But the good thing is, with a full gas tank, I could probably go, like right now, I'm just one tick below full. I could go 583 kilometers. So basically, I could go anywhere in Korea and come back. So that's the nice thing about it, about being on the peninsula. So that works out pretty well. Other than that, driving's not a big thing. Insurance, some people have been asking about insurance. Insurance used to be about $110 a month, kind of similar to what we were paying in the United States. But after the first year and a half of driving, it was time for the renewal for insurance. So they get your, you take a picture of your odometer and so on and so forth. And they came back and they're like, hey, you don't drive a lot. That's great. You don't drive a lot. We're going to give you a discount. So now our insurance is around $90 a month or whatever for car insurance, which works out great. It's like, hey, cool. But a lot of our traveling is just going back and forth to the military post, going to the gym, the walkability. We'll go to open air markets, but we don't drive. So, not compared to the States where if we wanted to go and get produce or go shopping, you have to drive everywhere. So that's not really the case here. But it is the case if you want to go like Traders or Costco. We did a video on where we went to the Costco in Chonan. So, and there's one in Pyeongtaek too. We went to that one. We didn't do a video on it. Maybe we'll go back and do a video. I don't know. My first video on Costco, the action camera the stabilization wasn't set because I was stupid. But maybe we'll do another one and I'll put like a chest mount on there and we can get some good videos, kind of show you the different things we'll do. Since we did Costco, maybe we could do like Traders or something like that at the mall, Starfield Mall in Pyeongtaek. So we could do one like that. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Fun stuff. I think I got an MP behind me. So I'm driving normal, as I always do, within the speed limit. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. And I think the auto store is up here on the right. So I'm going to stop and hopefully they'll have the Bondo and, Bondo application kit, something like that. Trying to find those online. Search Bondo on Naver. Good Lord, it is expensive. And then, you do have Amazon, but the problem is there's a lot of products like paints and solvents and things like Bondo that they won't ship to Korea. So yeah, you're going to get dinged on that stuff by buying it in Korea, because they have to pay some import taxes and some higher fees and so on and so forth. And so they're going to jack up their price for that, and they're going to put it up a little bit more so they can make a profit. So trying to find that. The only good thing is that there's good spray paint at the PX. So we might, and I just went there the other day to get some, and I might go back today. What is this lady doing? Let's see, trying to find, there's 8th Army Band, Auto Skills Center, and that looks closed. I don't know. I guess I'll just go to the arts and crafts store, and we'll check that first. And then on the way back, maybe that place doesn't open up until 12 or something. So I got to stop by there, and then arts and crafts, and check and see if they have wood filler, because you can also use that to process your cosplay armor and helmets and stuff. And so, yeah, we got that going on. Let's see. What else is going on in Korea? It's overcast a lot. If, you know, you can see in a video, we get a lot of overcast. And with that, Korea is more overcast than I remember. And it's more overcast than my wife remembers. So I'm trying to think, where is the arts and crafts? Okay, I know where I'm at. So there's not as much blue sky in Korea. Of course, that's going to be dependent on where you live. But being that we have been in this area, and it's more cloudy and overcast and hazy than when we first got going. So, and again, people don't know how to drive. I have an arrow. So, and this is on post, by the way. So, but yeah, a lot of hazy blue skies that my wife and I remember from years gone by are few and far between. So there's a lot of haze, a lot of clouds, overcast. Of course, you know, there's a lot of changes in weather, but I do not attribute that to climate change. You know, man is screwing the planet up in climate change. No, I don't believe that. You know, I just believe in cycles like spring, summer, winter, fall, and yes, get off your phone. The light turns green, and there you could see them in the windshield looking at their phone, just waiting. I guess Instagram is more important than anything else in the world, I guess. And where am I going to park? I think I'll have to park in the PX. Yeah, I'm talking on a cell phone here. Well, I'm doing a video, but it's not like social media or, you know, having my nose buried in the phone, like walking and texting or whatever. Just recording, it's not a big deal. But that is a problem. And that's I find it more of a problem with the military people, soldiers, their families, contractors, people around the military base here, you know, and off post. There seems to be an inordinate amount of people that are obviously younger than me that try to drive and text and Instagram. And matter of fact, we almost saw, it was so close. Yeah, you better stop taxing. We saw this lady that was in front of us, and she's like jerking the wheel and all this stuff. And then there was this lawnmower, the big, huge lawnmower on the right-hand lane, and she's in the left. She kept swerving over, and she swerved over, and you can tell she's holding her phone up and talking. And whether she's making a TikTok or whatever the hell it was, man, last second, she jerks the wheel, and She came this close. It was so bad that, you know when the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and you're like, ooh, this is going to be good. And I got a dash cam. I had already started to slow down because we were behind her. I slowed down even more. And she jerked the wheel, and she had kids in the car, and the kids' heads were, looked like they got whiplash. It was so close to ramming, and she was speeding too. So there's that. But absolutely insane on what people will do when they're driving. It's just like, how can you do your Instagram and all that crap while you're driving? I just don't get it. It's just not good. So I think I can end up parking here. Oh, there's one. Yes. So I'm gonna have to get out and hoof it. So I'm gonna end this video pretty quick. I'm a professional at backing up using my backup camera. Which is awesome. Scares my wife sometimes. So anyway, that's what we got going on. But driving isn't bad. You get a few bad apples in Korea. More bad American drivers. Sparky says, went to Seoul, Costco in Seoul, prices were something. Okay. Sorry about that, I missed it. But we went to the one in Pyeongtaek and Cheonan. That's the ones that are closer to us. But they worked out pretty good. So anyway, I'm gonna have to cut this video. With that, some people, I don't know. Korea's changed. It has definitely changed, and it's than what we remember. Some of the changes, like the haze and the overcast and stuff like that. Weather this year is pretty bad, but it's just a cycle of, I don't think it's climate change. It's just the way it is. It'll get hotter, and then, years from now it'll get colder, and people will be freaking out and doing the same thing. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. To think that the little footprint that we have as human beings can change the global weather is just incredibly asinine to me. So insignificant. It's just, one fart from a volcano, and that puts out more CO2 than, the industrial age has ever done, something like that. So, Nevada, 110 degrees for right now. We're hitting 81, but the bad 82 right now, but the big problem is the humidity. So we're shooting at, it's not too bad. It's 70% humidity. So 82 and 70% humidity, that's not bad. Last night it was like, we went out for a walk. It was 70 in the high 70s, but the humidity was in the 80s, and it felt like you're swimming, and it sucked. It was bad. So not too bad, but 110. I did see, what was it, Phoenix, Arizona got like 118 degrees. Oh, terrible. But it's a dry heat. So, that is absolutely insane. So anyway, I'm going to have to cut this off. Very interesting, being here in Korea. We're over 2.5 years now. Things are coming up good. We've got our visa renewal that we just got back. It took just 1 week to do our renewal. So that was kind of amazing. But our immigration lawyer, they work in the same building as immigration, so sometimes they can get things. Yeah, immigration knocks people to the ground. There's been a lot of heat injuries, a lot more seniors. I think double the amount of seniors have died so far because of the heat wave and the humidity and all that. It's just rough. So drink your water, vitamins stay alive, okay? Do that, it's important. With that, we're gonna close out the video. I'm gonna go to the arts and crafts, see what they have, cross fingers, and then hopefully I'll try to go to the auto craft shop and see if that's open, and hopefully they have Bondo. If not, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to, maybe I'll have to resort to resin. And of course, I'll have to buy some supplies with that. So anyway, thanks for watching. The few people that watched, appreciate it. Yeah, Korea's fun, but you get down, you settle down into your everyday life. And unless you have a plan, like, you know, working out, hobbies, something to engage your mind, your will, and emotions, yeah, you could be bored wherever you're at. So you got to have a plan for retirement. So with that, we'll let you all go, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace. Alrighty. Enjoy the videos. Planning is key, Sparky says, which is absolutely true. Alrighty, that's it. We'll see you all later. CB, have a good one. And yeah, peace.